6 o'clock. We call this meeting of the village board to order. We start with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dawn, please take the roll.
Stephen Lyssel.
Here.
Jim Falke.
Here.
Jeremiah Kiecker.
Here.
John Kohl.
Here.
Rick Coenen.
Here.
Bobbi Marks. Dan Sambs.
Here. In compliance with the old meetings law.
Yes, we are.
Okay, the trustees have received the minutes of the August 12th, 2014 monthly meeting.
Make a motion that we accept the August 12th minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Koenen, second by Mr. Kohl to approve the minutes of the August 12th meeting as mailed out or presented. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Informal public comment. The first thing we have is application for a temporary Class B retailer's liquor license for St. Paul's Lutheran Church for their Oktoberfest on October 5th. And let's see the time on here.
It doesn't
October
have
5th. Okay, so 10:30 to 3:30. Okay. I think we've done this before, good events for the community and for the church, obviously. Otherwise, I guess they wouldn't be doing it. So, I don't think there have been any problems.
I'll make a motion that we grant St. Paul's Lutheran Church a temporary Class B retailer's license for sale of fermented malt beverages and wine on Sunday, October 5th from 10:30 to 3:30.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Van Lyssel, second by Mr. Koenen to grant the request as stated here. October 5th, 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. That's on the church grounds. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right, next on the agenda, Matt Hanser has been talking to Jim and myself a couple of times, and wanted to talk to the whole board about the rate for the sewer, which he has there, and you know he bought the Merrick property, the condos over here at 224 Wolf River Drive. Right now, I believe you're paying $260. You're paying for two residences in that on that property.
Correct.
You have two fully fitted or residences basically. So equipped. Okay. And you're go ahead then and
Sure. For those of you that don't know me, my wife Melissa and I, obviously, as Dan said, right across from the bus stop there. What we basically do there is Melissa and I live on one side, and then we rent the other side out, doing kind of weekly, weekend rentals. And so I kind of actually filled out a chart of our rentals for this year, showing kind of how occupied it is, basically. And so, obviously, our main season is the summer, like anything in Fremont here. And so, when it comes down to it, we had a total of 109 days out of the 365, which comes out to, basically, we've got it rented out for about 30% of the year. And so, obviously, what we were getting charged is 130. With the 2 units, it'd be 260. Obviously, I don't think the 130 is fair for you guys. It should be more, but I don't think it's a full, actually 2 units, since we are only really using it 30% of the year. So I think last time Jim and I talked, we kind of looked at some of the comparables and what other people were getting charged around here, and I think we came up with the most similar one is the Yogi Bear kind of permanent cabin, correct? Jim?
Yeah, we looked at Wanda Harrison's cottages and also
meter.
What's the name? Okay.
was somebody other than Yogi Bear, I know that. I believe it was Wanda Harrison,
What
because
is
that's what
Wanda Harrison?
I brought it up to. She pays, $260, for house with 2 cottages. And, that's what I brought up to the board last time where he thought, I don't think it was Yogi Bear, I think it was Wanda Harrison.
It was one other thing where where I would have to pay an upgraded fee on mine to $175, and then I thought it was a $30.
Because when I brought it up to the board, yeah, that was the difference between most of these and on your house. They have already paid a higher rate for their house because they're actually running that business out of there. But then, then your cottage would go down to, like Wanda Harris's rate, half of that is what we thought might happen. But like I said, last time I brought it up to the board wasn't very receptive to doing that, because I think at the time, maybe when we were discussing that, was this the same cottage that Matt Brosh was living in? Is that what was going on at the time? So he was staying there?
Correct.
And was that this year? Is that on your charts here?
No, that was not. This is just for the rentals. He was there for about 3 months, is what he was there. And that was kind of a, I don't know, temporary thing, obviously. He kind of contacted me. I guess we don't have any plans in the future to do any sort of yearly lease or anything like that. And obviously, I know that would change at that time if we would rent it out for the year. And I'd have to obviously come back and tell you guys that we are doing that. And obviously, you guys drive by it every day. If you see the same vehicle there all year round, you're going to know that something has changed. So,
Well, I have to set up a committee meeting in the next couple of weeks to discuss some other sewer rates. I don't know if that's something you want to talk about now and settle this now with Matt, or if you want to put that on the agenda of the committee meeting, or what your thoughts are.
Well, how the rest of the board feels. I know this whole system of our sewer rates without sewer meters or water meters is a can of worms. And every time we open it, it's a circus, and we've been doing that I've been doing it for 30 years, I guess, but there's very difficult to have a system that's fair to everybody. We acknowledge that, but many of these things are just our best guess as to how much stuff they have going on there. I think traditionally, if facilities are in place, there's a charge. Especially a facility that is habitable 12 months a year. Some of these places, like a couple of cottages, like Wanda's cottages, or maybe a couple of places across the river that are not winterized, those we do give a break. They pay for half a year. Hotel rooms pay half the price. But we have some vacant properties in the village right now that are still paying $130, even though there hasn't been anybody living in there, but the facilities are there. Because we have our fixed costs for everything that's out at the plant, and the lift stations, and our upkeep of the system. So we have fixed costs, and we can't just drop the costs if somebody elects or for some reason or other is not able to utilize it full time. So that's kind of been our position over the years. In your situation here, I don't know how the rest of the board would feel, but 30% is not a lot of usage, unless it's like a condo that people rent, a vacation condo where they have all their friends and have their relatives show up and use the facilities a lot. But anyway,
how many people can are there like 6 people that could rent it these days,
It all
or?
depends. I mean, for example, a big chunk is the May and October, and we have actually one guy that rents it for the entire month, both months. And I mean, even for that, he rents it.
Just himself?
Well, I mean, he has a couple of buddies that comes up, but he only comes up a lot of times like a Thursday through Sunday. I mean, he's not even there the entire month of that, but, you know, it's a 3-bedroom place, it sleeps 6 in beds. You know, some people, I've had it where there's 2 people and sometimes there's 6 to 8 people. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
see, that's the thing. Our system is set up so that in my house, there's 2 people, and I pay the same thing, the same amount as the guy down the street who has 4 kids, he and his wife, he's got 6 people, and they're showering every day, and, you know, it's, I mean, like you said, this isn't a perfect system, but this is what we've set to make it pay for itself. So, yeah,
I just think, not to cut you off, but if you know, we look at you and we give you the break, all of a sudden we're gonna have Canals in here, cause he's got a unit that's not used all the time. We've had people come in that are in condos on the other side of the river there, and they say, well, we go to Florida for the winter, we don't use it at all. I mean, all of a sudden, you get one bad break and you're gonna have people storming, beating the door down, get in here and take us to the cleaners.
Right, and I know a couple years ago, the village did talk about, getting everything on meters.
and the cost of that would be.
And the cost of that is out of this world,
Astronomical.
yes. And maybe that's something that the committee can take a look at the next couple of years or something. Yes, I think we all understand where everybody's coming from, whether you be 100, like everybody said, whether you have 6 people in a family or 2 people in a family, or otherwise, you know, it's empty, you know, like, you know, me and my wife are just only 2 home now, I'm seeing, I just got it today, $130, compared to when we had all 3 kids living at home with 2 showers a day and what have you. But the rates, you know, they're no worse than the town of Nash or anybody else with bigger water systems.
Tell
Well, I
me,
guess the
tell me
question,
again what Wanda here, what,
well, I guess the question here is he in the right class? You know, we have classes, we have 12 classes or whatever.
okay.
What class?
And I was just scribbling some stuff down. Right now he pays $130 for each unit, which is a
Right.
single family, which most of the other ones with cottages and stuff pay $175 because it's a business, even like Ann Casey, who does business out of her house, really probably doesn't use the bathroom anymore,
But she pays
but she pays $175.
Okay, so,
So and then if you, let's just say if you moved him, let's say he's in the wrong class, if you moved him to 175, but then dropped the rental unit down with the hotel and motel per unit, which is 65, that does bring him down to $240,
just a second.
if my math is correct. But, I mean, it's $20, but if we feel he's in the wrong class,
So, in essence, he would pay $960 a year, where he's paying, $1,040, it's a difference of $80 a year. But you're right, if it's
if it's in the wrong
If it's
class.
the wrong class, and it
What-
should be in the 175 and 60,
Because a
65?
part-time rental unit probably shouldn't be in the same class as a rental house. I mean, but
so I think
it's
that's,
that.
What defines the classes?
It started, like Dan said, 20 years ago, and they, I could run you off some copies, but it's all basically
Everything's open 365 days a year.
but it's,
basically everybody's in here. It starts out with a single-family unit, then your 1As, and these are people that have business in their house. And then it goes to, goes all the way up to, but then it lists cottages in here, hotel motels per unit. And this is, I would call it an educated guess, unless Dan has better terminology for it. I think it started years ago, and they figured out what category everybody would fit in. And just as a guesstimation, I would think, I don't know how you could actually put a price on that, I don't know, but.
so I guess the question is not necessarily is he paying for 2 single, is he in the right class?
Correct. I don't think numbers on the classes are gonna change, although
No,
I should have a committee meeting and discuss that also, because that should happen before the end of the year yet. But, is he in the right class would be the question.
What would happen if we put him into class 1?
what is that?
Those are businesses that do have a few more,
Class 1A or class 1?
class 1. Class 1A is small, that's like a small business that
Yeah.
has like you said, Ann Casey's the prime example of that. She's got a business there, but we probably never, any of the customers ever use any facilities there. Well, Eric Raleigh.
So, here's the people in class 1 in the post office, Hair Graphics, Tim Lager in a tattoo parlor, Lewin Sprinter Home, Moss Bait and Tackle, Nancy's Gifts, Schaefer Welderling, and then Wolfer Marine in the house next door, Wolfer Outfitters. Remember the people in class 1, that would be $220.
Very small businesses for the most part.
And I can't see where Matt would use any more, his facility would use any more than those businesses.
Yeah, that's up.
You know, I don't know if that's a committee decision and bring it to the board or what.
I would think if it's on the agenda, we could vote and decide right now tonight, is that correct, Dan? Or?
I think we can, yeah. In my opinion.
I guess whatever you guys.
I'll make a motion that we put him in class 1.
And that's the.
That's $220. That's like a small business. So that'd be a couple bucks more than 1.5.
Yeah.
And if we get to if your occupancy gets up to, closer to full-time or something like that, I think we'd appreciate being notified that, and I think we'd probably have a pretty good idea too by keeping our eyes open there, and I think if your business gets up to near full occupancy, then I think we'd be justified in raising it up to residences.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Motion by Sam, seconded by Ms. Marks to place the property at 224 in class 1 on the sewer system. Sewer charges. Any further discussion?
So then, can you just send me the,
Just credit the past ones then, or giving a credit for the
What-
parent store?
What,
There'd be
wait a minute,
2 quarters that would build that then.
what's this?
I would say
No,
from
I
this
think
point on.
from this point on, this is due date,
End of the month,
October 1st.
end of this month. I think the current one, I think it'd be fair if we if he paid this new rate on
on this one right here.
the one that's we're sitting looking at right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not that.
that's my idea anyway.
So the invoice.
Beginning with the 4th quarter billing.
The third quarter.
Beginning with the 3rd quarter billing of 2014. Any further discussion?
which one is that?
The one you just
One that's
got.
due October 1st.
So there'd be the 130 due on the last quarter, and this one that you just got will go to 220.
Okay. Can
Rather
you
than
send me,
260.
can you just send me a waiver? Perfect. And then can you waive the interest or whatever on that? Is that possible?
What is there, some,
$11 or something, I think.
Yeah. For past due, because he was waiting until his
That was-
decision.
All right.
Perfect.
Do we
Thank
do that,
you.
or need a motion, or
Anymore.
do we need a motion to waive the interest, or?
Motion to waive the interest. Which one, the second quarter?
City of $11.
There's only one interest, I think. I was waiting, I was talking with Jim, and then I also.
Yeah, he's been calling and wanted some action on this, and I think it'd be appropriate to waive the interest on at this point, because I guess I had told him we'd get going on it, we didn't, one way or another.
I'll send you an email.
Perfect.
All right,
What is the name on it, so I can just write
any
that. in my
further
sheet?
discussion?
Insert Matt.
Yep, I got your name, but does the business have a?
Oh, Wolf River School.
Should we billing it as the business name then versus?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, any further discussion? All right, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you guys.
Anyone else from the public wish to address the board at this time? Kenny? It's on you.
I have one question and one explanation. My question, first question would be, maybe more to John, being that he's on the snowmobile club. Are you still mowing the nature trail?
I personally mowed it like twice this year, this side of the bridge. Man, that cane just keeps creeping in there.
Okay.
And
And my only reason was, I
Lots of
was
stuff to
told
kill it?
back when I started that you guys were. So I haven't, and it's my fault, I haven't even checked it out well.
yeah, and
Dan told me today to go down there and, boy, there must be at least 6, 8 trees were across the road and stuff like that, so I'm working on that. And I got another question on that. Is it okay if I allow somebody from the village to take the wood? And they cut it up, of course, which relieves me of doing a lot of it.
If they can get in there and get it out without cutting up the road.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking he's probably got a little trailer he can.
Yeah, four-wheeler trailer or something like
go
that,
across
may as
the
well
bridge
use it.
then. Yeah, if
I
that's
think in the
okay.
past we allowed them to do that, I think you.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So, we let them go off on the side in the woods to take stuff that was down that's supposed to be.
There's a lot of down stuff in there.
Yeah, maybe do more tomorrow.
Also, part of it is it got, road, what's it called? What's it called, Dawn? I told you,
Limestone?
screenings.
Yeah.
It's got screenings on it, and some of it don't, and it just goes like down to a ditch and dead ends, and then this one goes up to the highway and dead ends. Is that all part of the trail, or did somebody add that on? There's just a certain section that has the road grade on it.
Yeah,
It was
one
supposed to be-
time, it just kinda goes away each year, but last year for Tree City USA thing, which I got them folders for you tonight. Last year we redid some of it, as far as our money would take us.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's another project that you'll continue to, extend, put some more in there this year.
Okay.
Well, at one time it was a whole loop there, and it's still pretty much there under the leaves and stuff, and,
Yeah, it just gets
yeah.
covered with leaves and
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I think now, if I'm taking care of it, we are, then I'll have to give it more attention than what I have. I haven't given it any, but.
They know even that one tree when you first walk in there, that thing keeps getting lower and lower all the time.
Yeah, that I cut down today, so.
Yeah, okay.
My explanation is for the chipping that has been dumped in the parking lot. Got, say, 12 to 14 sweeper loads, which is quite a pile if you go back there and look. And my question is, what would you like me to do with it? But I wanna explain, that there's really nothing you can do with it. I called Tom Mathwick and I said, what do I do with this stuff? I tried it, I spread some in the parking lot, and it just like, you walk on it and it just squishes. There's nothing to bind it together, and that's, he said, the biggest thing. He said it's like, it pushes when you walk on it. And, he said the only thing that possibly we could do is spread it out, and then he'd dump a load of this, road grade screenings on it, and then try to mix it up. Well, I hope you don't decide to do that, but, so that's the dilemma. What do you want me to do with it? And you can talk about it later, but I wanted to explain what Tom said. He said, there's really nothing. He says, somebody that's got a hole you wanna fill or something like that, he said.
Yeah, if you ride on like a moped on it, you'll get stuck.
Oh, yeah,
It's,
or a
all good stuff.
bicycle would push if they're gonna walk on one suggested putting it on the trail, the nature trail, but that
You wouldn't
would
wanna
not
walk
work.
on it.
No.
This is a dumb question, I don't really know, but
If you
can't
don't
they
like-
reuse it? I mean, what is wrecked from the first time they spread it on the road?
Excuse me?
Can't they reuse it, the county, when they're
I don't know why they didn't
Tar on
keep
the roads.
it.
Well, it was too much, right? It was too
Yeah.
much on, so
Well,
it
you
didn't
paid
stop.
for it, I suppose, so they figured it's yours. I think is
Thanks a
what it
lot.
was, Yeah, but,
It was gonna cost an extra $1,000 for them to sweep it off and get it out here. That's why we dumped it here to save $1,000.
I know Tom sells that stuff, you know, you'll call him up and order a load of buckshot, he'll bring it over for you, that's what they call that size of stuff, maybe.
We put a sign that says free.
Well, I guess I don't have a problem if Tom wants it and he can resell it. If he wants to pick it up and get it all the way, let him, I guess.
Maybe we'll have a hole to put it in a couple of weeks.
Were there?
Well, we can talk to Tom, we'll find a place for it and get some help from Tom probably on that.
I think
Like
we'd
I
all
say, I don't
agree.
think we have a lot of use for it ourselves.
Mm-mm.
We definitely don't wanna put it in a nature trail.
No.
It's way too small, it's not
Yeah.
gonna.
And Tom put that on there last year, so he knows where he left off with it too, you know. I got the mower on my tractor, if, you know, I'm gonna try and get some of that bamboo off the sides.
yeah, I started today with that, so I got
Yeah,
the,
got a brush hog on there so I can.
Can you just scoop that stuff up with the tractor? How do you get rid of that stuff?
I
That's supposed to be-
tried
you- when
taking
you
the
find out how to
bucket,
get rid of it,
scraping
let me
off,
know.
But it just,
That's
it
looking
comes
nasty.
back, and it just keeps
Terrible.
coming back.
Yeah, it's nasty stuff.
Like a biologist like Dan could come up with some protection.
Roundup, lots of it.
Well, there's some stuff.
does it come up as leaves when it comes up and I'm,
Comes up like a sprout.
Yeah,
so if I sprayed it then in the spring,
If you're supposed to cut it and then spray it,
you're supposed to cut it first, really?
yeah.
Most stuff you're supposed
We
to not cut.
We sprayed some on some of the leaves and it will kill it.
Uh-huh.
But if you cut it down, I've read it, if you Google it, it tells you how to get rid of it. But if you cut it and then spray it, it will, nothing will grow there if you spray it with the right stuff.
Okay. All right, I guess that's all I got.
I'll bring it up under old business, I don't know if you're gonna stick around, but, on the minutes, we talked about, the building out there, and, I guess, what we could do on the siding, and Kenny and I looked at it again this morning, and, the bottom is
You're wrong.
pretty bad, and even the sill on the north side a little bit, north and east side is, the sill is kinda bad, and, I suggested, according by reading the minutes, I suggest we get some professional to look at it, and I don't know if that happened, or maybe that's you and me, Kenny.
You're as professional as I know.
Yeah, yeah, well, anyway, Kenny thought, well, maybe we could go with some metal, get some, like, siding, metal siding, and go up 4 feet or so, we'll cut an 8-foot sheet in half, and go along the side, and, put it on, we could put it on right over the top of that stuff that's there, and that would, at least cover up the bad-looking stuff. The problem is, the driveway is getting higher and higher, and the building isn't getting any higher, and so the water gets right at the sill and everything like that, and so it's just not a real good situation, so it's just something that's gonna be an ongoing problem. So, I don't know if we're gonna authorize Ken to, this is not on the agenda, but, maybe next month we can see if we can come up with authorizing Ken to get some steel to put on there, and, see what we can do, get some prices or something, and see what we can do to make that look a little better. The south side isn't too bad, that sits up higher, that foundation is probably, you get behind 50 barrels and look back there. The foundation sticks up about that high above the ground, so it's in a little better shape, but not a whole lot. But I think we do the north side first, I think we can see how that works. All right, any other comments or questions for Ken at this point in time? Working with one lawnmower at the point in time, or did you get it back now?
I got it back, he took the thermostat out, and he said it takes 2 weeks to get one, so he said if I wanted to use it, I should run it. So I went and got it, picked it up Monday. For all of you that don't know, it was overheating, and I blew the screens, and I blew the radiator, and it still overheats. And I called Service Motors and asked them, their mechanic, what's my problem? And he said, well, I can come out. And I wasn't thinking, you know, and I said, okay. Well, $160 later, he tells me that the water pump leaks, the shroud's broke, and the antifreeze is gone. Well, I know the antifreeze is gone, it overheats and boiled out. But anyway, I said, okay, so what does it cost to fix it? He said, he went back, figured out the bill, $700. And I said, gee, and I talked with Dan about it. So anyway, I took it to the Deagle boys, and as of now, they took the thermostat out, and that's the only problem. He said the pump, he did some work with it, and he said he could see that the paddle pump was working, or the water pump, he called it paddle pump. So I don't know where it's at. We're gonna use it for a couple of weeks and then go back, and so, just so you know where it's at, but I don't think it's, I mean, I could be wrong, maybe it will be $700, but I think they,
Okay, well, nothing's cheap, I guess. And the thing gets a lot of use, both winter and summer.
yeah, that's the one with the blower.
Snow blowing with. Okay, anything else? Okay, then we'll move to the police report. Thanks, Ken.
Yep.
Move to the police report. For the month of August, there were 20 complaints. 1 for animals, 1 found article. Assist other departments 8 times, 4 in the town of Fremont. Assist the public twice. Disorderly conduct once, ordinance violation once, suspicious vehicle once, traffic 2, welfare check 3. The squad car was driven 3,121 miles, 32 shifts, 306 hours of deployment. Enforcement action, 36 events. There were 14 citations issued, no written warnings, 3 parking citations, 19 verbal warnings. There were no traffic crashes in the month. Radar enforcement and extra patrol. Foot patrol downtown area, 1 hour and 55 minutes. Public beach, 5 hours and 25 minutes. Foot patrol downtown area, 3 hours and 50 minutes. Tustin Road, 7 hours and 40 minutes. Tustin Road, 8 hours and 10 minutes. Pack County Sheriff's Department handled 4 calls for the month. 2 to assist other departments, 1 assist the public, and 1 traffic. The department received 1 noise complaint from a liquor license establishment in the month. Respectfully submitted, Gene M. Goody. Thank you, Gene. Okay. We can move to committee reports. Bobbi, Hall and Library.
Okay, library report here. The library had 1 program in August with 187 attending. We had 42 for the drop-in programs. 3,105 items checked out, renewed, 212 sessions on the computer, 62 ebook users, 29 downloaded audio users, and they loaned out 1,180 items and borrowed 896 items. Summer reading came to close in August on the 6th. They had Scott Overman did some magic, and they had a little show. Had 190 children and adults, and they had pizza from the Fremont Hotel, and this was paid for by the Friends of the Library. Storytime Lab starts on Wednesday the 24th at 10. There's other children programs that are also starting in October. So Lunch and Learn on Wednesday, September 10th, that's tomorrow. It's a lady from the Eternal Spring Natural Health Center teaching us how to eat healthy, I guess. The Adult Book Club will be meeting on Monday, October 6th at 6:30. And Susan and Ann will be attending a youth service meeting at the Hortonville Library on Friday, September 12th. That's this Friday. And the library board also is back on look. I had mentioned that we weren't speaking of giving them more space, but, they're still looking for more space. And, some food for thought.
Yeah, she talked to me too.
I-
They would like to expand. They'd like to evict the cops and expand out into that thing there.
Well, and,
You guys don't need heat, do you?
well, the thing is, okay, and, you know, we talked about it some, but if they, you just, do they wanna expand into, they didn't really say this, into the garage? I mean, expanding into their office is not gonna give them a whole lot of room. I mean, that's a closet to begin with. So, at our next library meeting, we're going to discuss, maybe cleaning out the sheds where they have all their stuff stashed, and maybe they'd have some room in there for stuff, and they wouldn't need all this, but that's what they're, saving their money for. So when we let them crash down the walls, they're gonna pay for it, so. I just don't see that happening. Do you? Does anyone?
No,
It's
it's
a
right
lot of
on
money
the other
for
side,
something.
right on the other side, police,
Is it-
office is a utility room with
Yeah.
the furnaces and air conditioners, right?
Yeah.
All that would have to be moved and new plans would have to be drawn up and all, so.
I just don't think it's as easy as they think.
Well, I think it'd be easy going into the cop shop, but that's only
But that's not-
8 feet. That's
Yeah,
not-
what does that give them?
It's not even worth knocking
Give
the
them
wall.
another bookshelf.
Right, right, really, in all reality.
And
Did
then-
they ever get rid of anything that they stole?
Well, see, that's-
It comes out of there and goes in those sheds.
Well, I looked at the
What-
sheds yesterday.
Comes a time where,
Well,
There-
it
there's
doesn't
going to
really make
be-
sense
There's
either
gonna be
with
some,
everyone going
cleanup.
to electronic also. Everything's turning into going
well,
to
that's what I would
tablets
think.
and-
I mean, do they really need all the books that are on the shelves? Because most of it, they had, 62 ebooks, and those must not take up too much room, and, 29 downloaded audio users, so I think we're just gonna have to talk a little more realistic and just maybe throw some stuff out.
Mhm.
But anyway, they do still have that concern.
I mean, with taller shelves or different shelving in there, I mean, would any of that
I don't know,
help?
but they wanted me to ask for more space, so I asked.
There's just so many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, and I told Susan that too. I said, you need a committee to look into this thing, and don't just say expansion, but what are all the things, you know,
Logistics, yeah.
the domino effect? What other things are gonna happen in order for that to happen, and at what cost, you know?
Yeah,
So,
But are we correct in saying it's the library, then the cop shop, then the mechanics room, correct?
yeah.
And then the garage?
Mhm.
So it wouldn't be feasible to go.
It's not really, and
Not
like I
really.
said, if they wanna just go into the police, you know, their room, they're not gaining much, so.
move the clerk next door, you know?
Well, see, that's what I suggested, I said, move this way.
Tell them how I get the running water.
Yeah.
When it rains
Oh, yeah,
outside,
we
I
said
open the
open the
door.
door when it rains.
The rain girl.
But, yeah, so, I don't know, but,
We're kind of boxed in. It's about what it
Well,
amounts to.
yeah.
So,
Well, if you did have a lot of money, you could make a nice building over there. But that is, all that stuff takes so much money.
yeah. So anyway, I mentioned it, so, put it in the notes that I mentioned it.
okay.
The next thing is, opening up the gym. When do we wanna open the gym for the kids to play basketball? I suppose with this week coming, all the rain and the cold weather, it'll probably be more sooner than later, that, because won't be able to play in the park. But,
usually it's not the school year, yes.
yeah, so you think we should just start it right now? there an officer on duty every day now until 8 o'clock?
Gene's got a note here, starting in October, hours will decline, so Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, nobody will be on.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? And that's in October,
Yep, starting in October.
because then that's when we have to, start locking it up. And I volunteered to take Mondays, starting in October. Anyone else wanna volunteer for a date? Who's on my committee?
I can do Tuesday.
Steven?
I can probably do Wednesdays.
Huh?
I can do Wednesdays, sometimes it
Steven?
just might be a little later.
You just lock the
Front door here, and we check to see sometimes if that one's locked, but I've told them to keep that one locked back there. But they say, well, sometimes the kid might put a rock in there and pry it,
Props it open, yeah.
props it open, so. I usually, make sure the lights are off in the restrooms, cause it's another thing kids forget to do. But, okay, so Steven's gonna take Wednesday and Jeremiah Tuesday. Okay,
And if
that's starting in October,
So
so
right now, there's a-
we're good till through the end of the month.
Yep.
Okay.
And they do still have Zumba and exercise classes and all that at night too, so
Yeah,
that
but that's
limits
u-
the times the kids are in there too.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean, we just have to come at 8 o'clock and.
Yeah, there's getting to be more and more scheduled events in there and less just plain free time or
Yeah.
open hours, you know. So many things going on, so, well, guess we'll have to build another gym. Okay,
Maybe no, okay, that's
That's
all
it?
I have.
okay, Jim, do we have anything for the utility this month?
I don't have a whole lot, I didn't go to the meeting, you know that, if you got something to fill in. I do wanna have a committee meeting before the end of the year to discuss, the sewer rates. And then, this was in my folder, maybe you can make some light of it, I think it's beyond us, it looks like it's a real utility service. Something bigger than Fremont has, it appears.
Yeah, let's see here, I don't think that's anything that we, have, be able to help us here.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention, because I didn't really have a lot of knowledge in that field. It looks like transformers, big transfer switches and all that stuff.
Yeah, and the electrical systems that we have are handled through MCO's, staff of engineers
Yeah.
and technicians, and so, you know, we don't need a lot of engineering on.
It didn't
sewer
appear like
lines.
they were looking for a response or anything, it
Yeah.
just was more like
Yeah.
an advertisement, so I think I could probably just file that, but,
Okay. Now, just a couple words about the plant operation. Flows were down again a little bit even from last month, and, everything is working well. The operator's back, John Wilson was gone, he spent 2 weeks canoeing on the Porcupine River up in the Arctic, and, showed us a bunch of pictures that he took, and, quite an adventure. Couldn't take any meat in, and lots of pictures of bears. They couldn't take guns in, but they did have pepper spray, and he said one time there was one outside the tent, and he had his
Wow.
finger on the trigger of the sprayer. So, he has some stories to tell about the trip, so once in a while. Yeah, 2 weeks of sleeping on a rock bar in a tent. All right. I'm a little bit too old for that, I think. Paddling a canoe every day for 2 weeks. Okay, anything else then, Jim, at this
Nope.
point?
Nope.
All right. Okay, Jeremiah, ordinance recycling. I see last Wednesday night they had that final meeting, I think, on doing that, and I missed it. I didn't think it'd be necessary for us to, they know where we know what we have to do, and they know that we're in favor of doing it, so, I mean, what are you gonna do? We don't have any choice. They're gonna have to assess us a certain amount to cover the cost of operating the recycling facility,
I believe
period.
the early estimated bill will come in October,
Yeah,
So we'll have that for the budget meeting.
good. Okay, Rick, streets.
All right, start with the street sign out on 96 there, the one that says Fremont with population, did talk to the county does take care of those, the state is responsible, for those signs out on 96, and the county takes care of it for the state. They did order one in the middle of August when they did get hit, it could be 3 weeks or 4 months until they get the sign. Once they get the sign, they'll replace the post and the new sign up, and the state does pay for that. The snow plow, that goes, our snow plow, our V plow that goes on the front of our, 1 ton. We did, Ken, and we worked on that a little bit, Kenny did bring that over to Rod's welding right off of H. Rod did take a look at it, he did clean up all the cracks and did weld everything very good on it. There is some, if you stand in front of the plow, in the right wing of the V plow, and I'm not blaming Kenny, because the damage was done before that, but whoever hit something with that plow, completely bowed the bottom of the plow up on the corner by the hinge, and really hit something, and that's why he has that little skip in there when he goes down. He says he has a skip in there, about 1 to 2 inches, so it didn't cover any snow, but Rod says, basically, once those plows are sprung like that, you usually get a new one, a new plow or a new wing. He did check into that. It was $1,200 just for a new wing. I said, no, just weld it up good, and I think that's something we can shoot back to the committee and see what they wanna do for a new plow, on that, or how they wanna fix it. So, as of right now, everything is fixed on it. I believe it is back. But I would suggest, if we're gonna stick 12 to 1,500 into a new wing and make sure it works good, you might as well take that 12 to 1,500, put it into a new plow, and Rod says you can get a pretty good trade-in on it. Somebody could buy it for up north or something, But, I guess we'll cross that path when we get there, so I'll let you guys wanna work that. But it will work for what we use it for, and I could see if we had, it was one of our major plows, we had to plow all the streets, yes, and I would consider it a new one, but, Matt likes it, they take care of the majority of the streets in town here, so during the winter time.
Maybe it'd be a good time to talk to Tom too, and ask him for a quote for next year.
For a new plow?
No,
No,
for
for
plowing.
plowing.
Oh, usually, okay, I'll talk to him, and, he usually sends me one, without even, but yeah, I'll talk to him.
Remind him that budget time is coming and.
Okay. All right, and then also with streets, Tom did, coal patch at the corner, where he did the work, it looks good. Street work, of course, everybody knows, the county came in, and did all the, chip sealing on the roads we talked about at the last meeting. Took them a couple, 3 or 4 hours, and they were in and out. I think they looked pretty nice. And keeping an eye on them, they came in 5 days later and sweeped everything. I haven't heard any complaints or anything. So, hopefully that,
Yeah, it looks good.
it will do the trick and really make those streets last a little bit longer.
And that crack filling that we did on the other side, I went over again, looked at that the other day, and that looks to be holding up good, those cracks are still, that stuff is in there good, it stayed in there.
Right, so, at least we got something accomplished on the streets this year, which is a good thing. And, gosh, I'm missing something, but I think, I got the, street report here from the state that I got to fill out, and so I'm gonna have to add all that chip sealing to those reports, and I'll have it to you done by Friday, or next Monday at the very latest. I think until October 10th or something like that.
We got a letter,
Back in.
we each got a letter reminding us that those gotta be sent in, so,
Yeah.
okay, we appreciate getting that in.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, Steve, anything with beach and park?
Just Mathwig worked on the boat launch by the web footers. He did the stone and moved the concrete slabs back, but one of the concrete slabs he said is broken under the water. So that's something that we'll probably have to think about in the future. Know exactly what we would do with that. We just do the same thing if we go for a more permanent fix.
You know, it's too bad we couldn't do a project in the future with that, where we could get a grant and, the state would pay for half that and put a really nice slab down in there all the way. And then, just saying, maybe what footers in the village could split the cost on the other half.
I think, I've talked to a couple of mine, they'd be willing to at least, if we would do something like that, they'd be willing to put money towards it.
Well, they're the ones that get the most use
So,
out of it.
yeah, definitely.
Do you have any of that information from the last time you and Todd did something?
When I put that other first grant together, yeah, I got all the information, yeah. I would have to
What was
pull
that,
the dust
like,
off of it.
freshwater, something?
Yeah, freshwater, this one would go underneath, since it's a boat ramp, it will go underneath, I can look into it if you guys want me to.
I know, like Almro, that time when we were up there, we were issuing those grants, and we were up there that day. Like Almro, they give them vouchers for maintaining their boat ramps or redoing boat ramps, they're paying like 50% of the cost.
Right.
So if you could have us, you know, the village know it first, but, you know, might be doable.
Yeah.
Anything to do a boat ramp like that, the come in, have Rankies come in, you're taking a look at 50,000, 60,000, easy. You know, to redo a boat ramp. And, you know, like I said, the state is gonna cover half of it, and we can get, Leffers or the village, to work something on, that'd be doable in the future.
I mean, that boat ramp fund is gotta be getting up there pretty good right now. 70,000 at the end of last year.
Yeah, and
Yeah, this summer.
yeah, and that's what the money's for, though, keeping those ramps up and the parks up, right?
Yep.
No, there's some expense there too.
But,
Um, I think we've taken,
down.
Well,
well, picking up garbage,
Yeah.
garbage bags, all the stuff that you've seen on the bills, that,
Yeah.
we do justify paying for a lot of that, but I think we've probably deposited a little over $20,000 this year so far, maybe 22 or something like that. So it's been down from last couple of years, and hopefully we'll have a good fall for weather and for fishing and stuff, so.
and then if you want to, see, we'd be glad to get the ball rolling and get the paperwork and talk to Rankies and have them come out and get an estimate and get it rolling for them, but
Should we
it's up to you, or should we wait?
Should we look into that grant first before we,
Yeah.
doesn't bother to have them come out if we're not gonna.
Yeah, I can look into
No.
it.
At
Well, you're
least
gonna have
right
to
now,
have all
we've
the-
got a temporary fix for a little bit.
Right, you're gonna have to have all the numbers.
You know,
anyways.
work for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I know in the next, probably the next few years, otherwise we're gonna be paying Matthew to do this every year.
And for a grant, I know already, you're gonna have to have all the construction numbers and what it's gonna cost.
Oh.
You know, so you're gonna have to get estimates somewhere along the way.
Might as well get it rolling.
Yeah, I guess we can.
I think that's stood up for a few years there. I don't think we've done anything with this one for a number of years now, have
I
we?
think just last year, we did a couple of minor things, like put more stone in the
Yeah,
crack, you know, or
But
whatever.
the structural
Yeah,
part of it,
it
I
held
think has
on.
held together for quite a while.
Since we put them slabs in
You
there.
know, was that about 5 years ago, I was thinking?
It was longer than that even.
I wouldn't doubt it as far as.
'Cause there was some in, and then didn't we add on another one that time?
Yeah, I remember
Poured
pouring
two
slabs,
new
yeah.
ones and
Right.
tied them together and slid them in there. That's quite a while ago, right?
Okay. Moving on then, John, the employee committee.
Don was approached by another company, I can't even remember the name of it, but, for our auditing, which we use currently at Clifton Gunnarsson, I believe. And I think we've had them for as long as I can remember. So I don't know if it's worth, I mean, they've always done a good job. them out, or?
I get shocked every time I see them bills, but that's gotta be very extensive work, I can't even imagine.
Dawn made the comment that she, in some of her travels, she's seen, talked about what some other communities are paying, and they seem to be paying more than we are, is that correct?
Depends on what they have too, if they have water utility or
Yeah.
things like that too, but
But ours seems reasonable.
yeah,
So
and
what
I had found a paper actually, I don't remember where it was, but with, somebody had done a survey out there asking what everybody paid, and we were on very much the lower end.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do a good job, and,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes it's not the best interest to change, you know, that all the time.
Yeah.
What's your wish?
And when
They
they're
know the
familiar,
system.
when they're familiar with the
Yeah.
account too, that's advantageous.
Yeah. I mean, you could talk to him, he remembers
Yeah.
and has a record of the activities over the last few
Yeah.
years, what we've done, and it's been, I think, very,
Sometimes when you switch, you have to retrain them.
yeah.
Well, then they come back the next year and the price that they beat the other guy with isn't.
Yeah, now they're higher.
No, all of a sudden they're higher.
I think
So
we
my
stay where we
feeling
are.
is that we stay where we are.
Okay, and consensus is that we will stay where we are. All right, my report, I really don't.
You're up.
Oh, go ahead.
You're up.
Oh.
You have our attention.
Okay, well, I don't have much to capture anybody's attention here. Just that we will be working on budgets next month. We have to set a meeting for October, second October meeting, and it's on this clerk's agenda here, so that's taken care of. I think it's gonna be a little bit more difficult this year. I think we better plan for that, and so I think probably at that next meeting, we might have to decide what we're gonna do for money to pay for the activity on 216 and 220 Wapaka Street. There'll be some bills coming in, probably there'll be some bills should pretty well be in by the October meeting, I think. It might be necessary to borrow some money, and I was thinking we could borrow some for the boat ramp. I mean, from the sewer fund, sewer savings fund, until we get compensated back for it. So it's just a thought. We'll check into I'm pretty sure it's something that we could do as a board, but might be able to make a transfer there to cover costs of that, and what those costs are gonna be is, we don't know yet. Okay, clerk's report.
Okay. First thing is an operator license application for Leanne Lewis. There's nothing on her record that would prohibit the license being issued.
I'll make a motion to approve the operator's license application for Leanne Lewis.
I'll second it.
All right, motion by Mr. Kohl, seconded by Mr. Falke first, I believe, to grant the operator's license application for Leon Lewis. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, then we had gotten our August tax settlement from the county. We received $104,466.83. All the delinquents that had paid up are settled, and those are in your financials for tonight. We still have special assessments outstanding from 2013 of $4,670.30. We also received $15,825.50 from Owls for the second half of the library aid for 2014, and again, setting the date for the 2015 budget. This kind of talked to Dan on the 14th is the meeting night, and the 28th is the last Tuesday night.
Okay, those dates look acceptable at this point? All right. And no, that's what they'll be. Okay, unfinished old business from previous meetings. last meeting, we talked about the use of this room by the Lupac County Department of Health and Human Services. Have they been around? Or?
They, actually, last week came in, it was at 3:30. They said, we're here to use the room. I said, it's 1 to 3. And she says, oh, they didn't call you? And now that she started school, they want to do 3:30 to 5:30. And I said, well, that's okay tonight. I said, I may have to bring it up. Well, then she said, it looks like the end of September, they may be done with it. So,
This is a problem with getting, I mean, you're gone by.
I'm gone. The library happened to be open, because it was the first Thursday they were open too, so they made sure it was locked up.
Okay. Okay, and also, if you remember here, we talked about the vault, and it said the clerk has begun scanning invoices. The board will get together after the September meeting and sort through files in the vault for shredding. We said that last month, so, I don't know, have the police removed any of their boxes? Well, I guess we'll have to post, darn! We'll do that tonight,
Can't
huh?
get in there. I talked with Dawn and we kind of decided that, we should wait, and I can't remember why we decided to wait.
Well, I said we can
You
pull
have
stuff
to-
out, but we actually have to notify the State Historical Society before we can throw anything away and make sure that they don't want it. And most of the time, they say no, dispose of it, but you have to send a letter to them
Yeah.
telling them what you're disposing of.
Tell them to come and get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we decided we didn't really have time to do that, and we didn't want this stuff sitting out. So, I guess we're gonna have to.
So maybe I can get it organized at least into
Yeah,
payables, you know.
to see what we wanted to get rid of and then let them know and get their blessing.
Once they approve it once, it's done forever, so.
Yeah, okay.
We're not gonna do that in October after the.
No,
No.
we won't do it until 2015.
Okay.
Although if the police
We
want to
won't
take
wait
theirs
till
out.
after the election?
Yeah, we'd like to wait till like April or May.
All right. Is there any new business to be brought up? Any communications? I don't think I received too much here. Public Service Commission, if anybody wants to go to the, Public Service is going to, joint application of Wisconsin Electric Power Company and Wisconsin Gas, otherwise known as We Energies, for authority to adjust electric, natural gas, and steam rates. So Wednesday, September 24th, there's a meeting in Amnicon Falls Hearing Room in Madison, and the general public in Milwaukee on Wednesday, October 8th. If somebody wants to attend one of those meetings, you may go. Talk about adjustments. I imagine they're gonna lower them. Okay, that's all that's here. Payment of bills.
So we got a couple on there already from 214 and 216, huh, for asbestos testing.
We just got it today.
So they actually did remove some from there, huh?
This is today.
I got that right.
There was two different ones, I think, wasn't there?
For testing.
Yeah, they came and tested the first time, and then they came back and retested. They billed us the second time for retesting, and then they billed us for removal of the windows, and that was done today. And we got the bill already.
Very quick.
He brought, he hand delivered.
Yeah.
It's the time, huh?
No.
Get on that gig.
Carry the bill in the truck.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
Second.
And including including the, one for, Aerolock.
Like 450, one for 1150 or something.
Well, there were two 450 ones, weren't there?
One was earlier. The one today and then the ones I gave you today.
Okay, all right.
One was 1095 and one was 450.
Yeah, 1095, that's 882.
Okay, yeah, and then there's, okay, yeah, that's right.
So are we ready to roll?
Gas has to be disconnected yet. That should be the last thing. Sewers have been disconnected, capital. Okay, electricity's off. Okay, do I hear a motion on the bills? John made one, motion by Mr. Kohl. Was there a second? Jeremiah?
Never mind.
Okay, those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Van Lyssel.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Falke. To adjourn. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.